Hello friends, in this video I'm going to explain about what is method, why do we create methods, and how do we use method. We're going to also show how you create methods in Java. Uh, First of all, what is method? Method is basically a set of the code that does some form of actions, some functions it will do. The main purpose of creating a method is that so that it can be reused from all different entities. So there may be all different classes um, where you don't want to write that whole thing again, so you can just use that again. So basically this is considered to be reusable components. So you are writing one method at one class, you want that to be accessed somehow. That is the main purpose of the method. Let's go with some of the examples so that will explain you much better. At the end of this lesson, I expect that you would have good understanding of what is the purpose of methods, why you create them, and how do you create them. So I see here public So this is called main method in Java. So main method, it has some form of signature that it requires for the main method. The purpose of main method is to define that it is at the class level, and then it will be only required to create once, and then the main purpose of this is so that we can execute this, or we can run this class as a Java application. That's the main purpose of having the main method. To do the main method, you will have to define, if you want to define anything outside of this, then you will have to create a separate method and you will have to call them in order to run it here. So this is one kind of method, but the problem here is we don't want to write entire feature inside this block. This block is mainly used so that you can define all different sets of the functionality outside of this body, and that's when you will define and you can call them here as you need to run them. Okay, and next thing is anything that has a static on it, it is considered to be class member. So static means that it will be recognized by the compiler as a class member. So it will compile very first thing here, and it will read this before you have any non-static variables, and those are considered non-class members. So here, if you come here, if I say public void add this is a method. So anything that has this parenthesis along with this curly braces along with this parenthesis are the methods. So this method has a void. Void means it does not return you anything. If you want anything to be returned inside this feature, then that code has to handle everything. There's another kind of method. This kind of method, if you see here, let's write another one, but it still is giving error because it is requiring to return something. It is requiring me to return something. That's the difference with the void and string, because return means it will do all of the activities that it is asked here, and then at the end it will give me some value. Here in the void, it does not give me any value, but it will have all of the features or line of code that we define. This is considered to be main method. So there are three different kinds of methods you can define inside the class along with the constructors. We'll talk about that in other video. So now let me take this one at a side, and then we'll define this later. Let me comment this out. To comment, you have to put the double slash each line. So in the main method I don't define anything because I want to define the line of code outside, and that is recognized by this method, this itself. So this here, this is the name of the method followed by this method always follows by the this bracket, small bracket called parenthesis. Okay, so this method is going to represent any line of code I write here. It will basically function those activities. So here if I say I need to add something, and I'll define with the int is a numbers, int a equals 5, int b equals 6. Okay, and I want to add something would be int c equals a plus b. Now if I want to print something off of this result, otherwise it won't print, then I would say system.out.print c. Okay, system.out.print.ln c. C is now returning me the value which is a plus b equals. Okay, so here if you see this bracket, wherever it opens, that's where it ends. If you see this whole selection, that is what all of the functions I'm asking it to do. So this entire feature, when anybody calls add with this value, they're going to the Java is going to do each line by line action. So first of all, it is going to read the value for a, next it will read the value for b, and then it goes, the space does not do anything. Space is basically, it will just ignore the empty space, and then 13, line 13 it will jump to, and 13 will see c. Okay, c is the another value. These things are called variables. Okay, a b c, a is going to represent the value of 5, and same thing with the b is going to represent the value of 6. So I want to add these two. I have c equals a plus 5, or I can also do c equals 5 plus 6. If I do this, I don't define anything here. If I do this, I don't have to define this whole thing. So I comment this outline, but this does not make more logical sense. So let's put something into the variable. So variable is basically the representation of some value. And then if I do this line is going to print me something in this console here, so that I can see what the result came. Otherwise it would just do the coding, it will do the calculation part, but we did not see. That's why we want to print this out. So now if I want to get this thing going, let's format this. So now if I want to get some value, this add to be run, if I run here now, run as, you would go Java application, but it does not do anything because you have not asked anything inside the main method. Okay, main method has nothing, so it won't show anything. So if I need to run this, or if I need to execute this, I will have to call main method as a class, the class where I am in equals new. So doing this is considered to be creating an object, or you can call this is a instantiating, instantiating. Instantiation is what it's called. Once you instantiate the class, the object that is being created, basically the variable object of this class, now method demo, the class name is going to be represented by object. Now if you want m.add, now that's when you will see the reason we are doing this is that we are defining something from non-static, which means it does not have static here. As I said before, static only is read by main method. If there's and then static method always takes static stuff. For class we cannot have a static here, that's why we are creating the instantiation of this class and get the object. And then now object is basically the class's object, the class we are in. The object is going to call add function, so it will now add value, and we believe it is going to print this because that's what we're asking. Let's run this, run as Java application. Okay, now you see the output. You don't need to define the methods. If you want to just define the whole thing here, you can do the same thing again here inside the main method itself. This is going to just do the same thing that this is doing, but the difference you will see is the clarity. Okay, the clarity is what you will see, that how easy it is versus how different. It's the same output, but in the main method you just think as this way. This class is not here only to do the add function. It may do subtraction, it may do division, it may do addition, or it may do all other things, right? So we want here this class to represent all different features. If I continue to write codes like this each line, then this method itself will get so confused, and it won't, even if it does the function, then it confuses user that what this is trying to do. So that's why we don't put the blocks of codes inside the main method. Okay, so if I want to add something, I'll write something only for add feature. If I want to subtract something, I'll create another method called subtract. Okay, and here I will just do minus. Okay, and then if I do minus, now I can do m dot. See, creating this, each method does not require this to be defined. This you define only once. All this means is if you any classes that you instantiate, that class need to have those methods only. You can only call the methods that is inside whatever class is having those methods. You can instantiate this not only within the same class, this can be instantiated anywhere outside the class, which is package, or it could be different package, right? So but the condition is you have to define the instantiation first, then the object that you have, that is going to call whatever method you want to run. Now this is what it's going to execute when you run this test. What happens is m.add executes first because that's at line number 7. Line number 7 does first, and it goes each line by line, and at the end it does this and it ends. Then it goes to m.subtract. It does the same thing here. That's how this is all defined. Okay, now C here, if you see C is here again and both places repeated. This C ends right after here. After this, C value is gone. Now you come to subtract. So this value is only limited within the method itself. So this will execute you the very good results for addition and subtraction. So subtraction is resulting you -1, addition is resulting you 11. So that's pretty much for the method part, and we're going to talk more about in details on what are the different ways you can create methods in the other video. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you have not, please support my channel and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.